Hello! So this week I decided I was gonna do a more personal kind of video. It's not about beauty is what I'm talking about. I did a video not long ago called the accent tag and people really liked it and they liked seeing something that wasn't necessarily about beauty on this channel, so I thought I would do the 50 random facts video. Is it a tag? I don't think it is a tag. I've not been tagged, so whatever. So I'm just gonna get going because there's a lot of facts. There's 50 of them, hence the title. I have a hole in the base of my spine at the very bottom. It's kind of in an awkward place to show people, but it is there, and when I was a baby I used to have to go and get it cleaned out with a cotton wool bud. Now it doesn't bother me that much, but I can still I know it's there, but it's just a teeny tiny hole. I have two siblings. I have an older brother who is 11 years older than me, and I have an older sister who is 13 years older than me. I have a scar underneath my chin, which I don't think you can actually see on camera. I might cover it up with my makeup, but it's basically like little black dots where I went down a hill on my bike. My brother told me not to, and I ignored him, and I went down, I fell off my bike, and I cut all my chin open and I got gravel in it, and it's still there because we didn't go to the hospital. My mum just sort of whacked a plaster on it, and that's why it's still there. I am very scared of butterflies. People take the mick out of me for it, but let's be honest, they are insects with wings, and they like make you think they're all pretty and nice, and actually they're just evil because they just fly in your face, and people are like, oh look, they're so pretty and nice, and it's like, no, it's a bug. Like an insect, like a spider. I really hate fancy dress. My brother loves fancy dress, my sister likes fancy dress, and then there's me, and I'm just like, I don't want to dress up as anything. Babies scare me. I am a full-on chocoholic. People use the term chocoholic loosely and in like a light-hearted way, like, oh, I really like chocolate. But no, it's actually an issue that I think I may need to get sorted out, because it gets to a point where I get so angry if I don't have any chocolate for a really long time, and I can't live without it. My favourite kind of food is Chinese or Japanese food. I really hate bananas. I can't stand the smell of them. The actual thought of eating them makes me gag. I've tried to eat bananas, but as soon as I put them in my mouth, I'm just like, bleh. When I was younger in primary school, so I must have been about 8 to about 11, that sounds about right, maybe longer than that, I went horse riding. So I did horse riding for a really long time, and I'm pretty alright at riding horses. I can ride a horse, I can canter and all that stuff. When I was 13 going on 14, I had my very first heart palpitation because I had an anxiety disorder and I thought I was having a heart attack. That was fun. My favourite drink ever is hot chocolate, because I'm a chocoholic, so that makes sense. My favourite film ever in the history of film, and you would think it would be something really pretentious because I'm a film student, but no, it's Muppets Treasure Island. My favourite TV show ever is Life on Mars, and if you haven't watched it, not the American version, the English version, or UK version, or if you're gonna get technical about it. UK Life on Mars, favourite show ever. My favourite musical artist, just a person on their own, is David Bowie. I love David Bowie. Favourite band ever is the Beatles. I am a very big Beatles fan. I've been on the Beatles tour in Liverpool. I've been to the Beatles Museum. When I was little, and a little bit still to this day, I was obsessed with Elvis. I was like in love with him. I would watch his films every Sunday morning, like, what's it called? Hawaii, Aloha Hawaii or something. I can't remember what the films were called. I remember GI Blues and Viva Las Vegas. I love those films. It took me a grand total of 4 times to pass my driving test. I have never ever been to London, but I hope that I will be able to go very soon. I'd like to go for a weekend, so hopefully I can do that in the next year or so. I have never ever been outside of Europe. I've been to Austria, I've been to Spain and Cyprus and Greece, maybe Greece. But I've never ever been outside of the EU. I have this thing where I can hear a song memorize how it sounds, and then I can sort of figure out how to play it on the piano, sort of roughly, so you can tell what I'm trying to play on the piano. When I was little, I was really bad for telling lies. I would literally do really naughty things and then just blame all the other kids, and my mum would know. She'd be like, I know you're lying, but I'm just gonna blame it on them as well. Public speaking absolutely terrifies me. We have to do presentations in uni, and every single time I feel like I'm dying inside. There are 2 bands that I will ashamedly put my Spotify on private for when I'm listening to them, and that is ABBA and One Direction. When I first started wearing glasses, I was 15, so I was in my final year at school, and I had to wear them for long distance. And then after I left school, I had to start wearing them all the time because I am blind as a bat. I started doing YouTube videos when I was about 15, and I started on a completely different channel which doesn't exist anymore, and I was doing like covers of songs and stuff, and that's how I started on YouTube. When I was in school, I think it was my second to last year of school, must have been 15, Walker's Crisps held a competition to win a iPod, and it was the first ever iPod ever released. It was like a grey brick, and all it did was play music. You couldn't like play games on it or anything like that. It was really basic, and actually it wasn't that long ago. But I ended up winning an iPod from Walker's Crisps, and what made it even better was that my brother had just bought an iPod, and he had been like taking the mick out of me because he's got this iPod, and he was like, haha, I've got an iPod and you haven't. And then I won one, and I was like, ha. My favourite ever animal, and I don't suppose it's technically, I suppose a dog is an animal, but it's a breed of dog, and my favourite ever breed of dog is husky. I love them so much, and they're so cute, and if I'm driving along, I have been known to nearly crash because I've been staring at a husky walking along the side of the road. My favourite ever city that I have ever been to date is Manchester. I absolutely love Manchester. I'd be more than happy to live there. It's just huge, it is gigantic, you could easily get lost, but they have thousands of shops, and they have like the little arty quarter as well, and then it's just, you have everything you will ever need in Manchester. I really wish that I could dance, but I've got no rhythm. My body and my brain don't work together very well. Sometimes when I'm alone in my room, I will sort of daydream and pretend that I'm in my favourite films or my favourite TV shows, and like I'm a character in them, and that's a little bit crazy, but I actually know a lot of people do that, so it's not just me. I make an extremely tasty Oreo cookie cheesecake. I'm actually pretty good at cooking. I'm better at baking, but I can cook sort of well, and I tend to cook quite a lot. So I'm not a typical student making beans on toast all the time. I do cook things. I cannot knit to save my life. My sister has tried to teach me to knit, and even she gave up after like 2 seconds. She was like, I don't even know what you're doing. No idea what you're doing. But I can crochet because I only have one sticky thing. If I've got 2 sticky things, I get confused. 1 sticky thing, I'm good. I really enjoy drawing comic book art. So like Iron Man and Wolverine and all the other comic book heroes. I really enjoy drawing them. I can't draw them from memory. I can only sort of look at a picture and copy what I see on the picture, but I can do okay. My favourite kind of art is pop art, and I studied it in high school, and I really enjoyed it, and I still like it to this day. And I think, is it Roy Lichtenstein who did like the Crying Woman and stuff like that? I really like his art. When I was younger, I used to be really bad for biting my nails. Like I would bite them right down, and now I often get complimented on how long and lovely my nails are, so glad I stopped doing that. I am obsessed with stationery. I cannot go into paper chase. It is a dangerous area, especially if I've got my credit card, because I will literally go in there, buy notebooks and pens and pencil cases and like wine journals and restaurant diaries and stuff that I just really will never ever use. When I left school, I was 16, because that's the age that they throw you out over here, and I started working pretty much straight away after I did my GCSEs, and I worked in the restaurant in Debenhams, which is like our big department store, and I worked there for 4 years. When I was little, I was out with my friends and I got stuck up a tree, and I had to get my friend to go to my house to get my dad to get me out of the tree. When I was really young, and I'm talking like 5 or 6. My mum tried to make me watch the Gremlins. I was terrified. I said that they were evil and she kept saying, oh no, they're just naughty. I've now come to realise that The Gremlins is actually a 15 rated film, so my mother should not have been making me try and watch that film. Moulin Rouge makes me cry every single time. I know what's going to happen in the end, but I still cry anyway. Sean Connery is my old man crush. Justin Timberlake was the first ever concert I went to. My sister took me and we were both very surprised at how high-pitched his voice was. I went to the first ever Soccerade, which if you're in the US, I don't know if you get it over there, but it's basically run by Robbie Williams and his friend Johnny Wilkes, I can't remember what his name is, but Robbie Williams and his mate. And we went to the first ever one, which was at Old Trafford, and Maradona played, and he was really, really tiny. Like teeny tiny. I would love to visit New Zealand one day. Seeing the Foo Fighters at the Manchester City Stadium was the all-time best concert I've ever been to. I managed to get at the front and I was like this close away from Dave Grohl. He was just there with his blue guitar and I have a picture of it and he's really, really close and it's my prized possession. I remember going to a craft store with my mum and my stepdad and they had like this jewellery stand and they were selling the necklace that Arwen wears in Lord of the Rings. And it is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life, and it is my life goal to eventually own that necklace. Sometimes I have been described as being a bit too honest or harsh, blunt. There's some of the words that I've been used to describe me. And last but not least, I used to think when I was little that the veins on my wrist, which I don't know if you can see it very well on the camera, but because I'm so pale, I'm practically see-through, and you can see all the veins in my arm and you can sort of follow them up to my shoulder. But I was convinced that when I was younger, someone had drew on me in blue pen and I was really angry about it. So that is all for my random 50 facts. I'm gonna say it's a tag. But I'm not going to tag anyone specifically because I sort of like to tag everybody, because I know people watch this video and they're like, oh, she hasn't tagged me, but can I do it anyway? Yes, you can. You have my permission to say that I have tagged you if you want to do the 50 random questions, or facts. I keep saying questions. They're not questions, they're facts. So I will see you next week for another video. Goodbye. In light and it has SPF of 30, which is really, really good. That's quite a high SPF for any sort of foundation or BB cream, I think. Usually they're like SPF 15.